You're listening to the iRacers Lounge podcast, featuring all your latest iRacing news, driver interviews, race reviews, opinions, discussions, rumors, and much more. Now here's your host, Mike Ellis, and Sim Racing Chewy Side.
Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer, where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters: Chewy Side 55, Carlos Fonseca, Brad Wren, Kyle Fleischman, and special guest tonight, Alex Bergeron. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hello. Hey.
Okay, so let's start off, Alex, with you. Thanks for joining us. We got a message from you that you were a listener and ended up getting you here on the podcast. Let's start out with your stats. I took a look at your stat page, and you got an I rating in Oval 5394 with 209 wins with a winning percentage of 11%. Those are pretty good stats.
Yes, it is, actually.
All right, so do you do a lot of official racing there, or is it mostly league or hosted, or what?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of C-Fix race, B-Fix race, and right now at the moment I'm doing the all three ASCORS league on iRacing, so I'm pretty busy since this week.
All right, now how old are you? You sound a bit young.
Yeah, I sound very young, but I'm 16 years old and I'm from Quebec, Canada.
Nice. So how long have you been on iRacing, and how did you hear about iRacing?
Yeah, I joined iRacing back in 2013, but it took me like 1 year and a half to understand the principle of iRacing. I was just caring about SR, but not iRacing. But after 1 year and a half, I started racing a lot and did my way on the iRacing side. And I heard about iRacing on a racing magazine. It's called NASCAR Illustrated. It was in 2009, and then it took me like 3 years to get on iRacing.
Nice. So how often do you race nowadays, and what series do you normally run in there?
I actually race like 4 to 5 days a week, but it's like one race per day. Like I'm racing 3 league race, but it's the same league. So and I'm doing also C-Fix a lot, and sometimes B-Fix when I have times.
Very good. And what type of wheels and pedals do you have?
I actually run with the Club Sport wheelbase with a round 1 wheel. My pedal are a main performance PC pedal, so it's a great combo.
Yeah, a lot. I have those pedals as well as Brad, and who else has those? Brad in our team. Kyle does, right?
Yes, I do.
All right, 3 of us here have those same pedals, so we all seem to like them. All right, well, how many monitors do you run?
I'm running triple monitors, 3 Acer 24 inches. It's pretty realistic, and I really like that.
All right, that's the way to go for sure. You mentioned any leagues. Do you want to talk about those, or?
Yeah, racing in the ASCORS Pro Geek Cup, the ASCORS GN Series, and the ASCORS SegPay Truck Series. So I have to thank Brian Schoenberg for all his efforts to bring on those league, and it's just awesome to race with top guys like Ray Alfala, Taylor Hurst, and all of those guys. Just awesome.
It certainly shows you where you're at anyway, right? And how you're compared to those guys.
Yeah, but sometimes, luck is not on my side, and sometimes a lot of things happen. But yeah, I'm very satisfied to be with those guys, and I think I am at my place.
Oh, good, good. Do you use any third-party software when you're running the sim, or?
I was running the Z1 dashboard sometimes, but I'm not running Z1 dashboard at the moment because I'm on 3 screen and I don't know exactly how to put it on my iPad or something like that. So I have to pressing only on 3 screen, but I have no third-party software at the moment.
Yeah, the Z1 dashboard, just so you know, it will run on any other device, a laptop, a tablet, whatever. You can even run it on the same computer with a fourth screen if you can hook up a fourth screen. So
yeah, this is what I'm looking for, trying to figure it out how to make it done.
yeah, fourth screens can be tricky. Brad might talk about that later in the broadcast here, but lots of times you hook them onto your motherboard graphics and not the actual video card. But the trick is you have to go into the BIOS and actually turn it on. Sometimes there's a flag to turn it off and on, or when you install a video card, it gets turned. The motherboard graphics gets turned off, so you have to go back in and turn it on in the BIOS.
Yeah.
All right. Are you part of a team at all? Do you work with other people on setups? Or are you on your own, or what?
For the moment, I'm on my own. I'm waiting to get some offer, but I mean, I'm alone. But I have to say a big thanks to Reese Noble and Adam Chapman for their great job on spotting, crew chiefing also for me since last week. They're doing a pretty good job, but I'm still waiting for offer from teams because I'm still alone at the moment, and I'm waiting to get a team. So that's it.
All right. And I see you run a lot of C fixed and stuff. In fact, you have 4 wins out of the last 10 races there. But do you ever want to run the NASCAR iRacing series, the long 36-week schedule? Or do you ever run that, or?
Yeah. At the start of the year, this year, I started NIS Open, but then I didn't have time to do all the races, so I stopped. But I do sometimes NIS Fix, NIS Open sometimes, but not every weeks.
Well, you got a real nice I rating there, and could probably compete pretty well over there. Let's finish up with the last question: is your most memorable iRacing moment?
Oh yeah, it's a good question, Mike. I will say when I did my first Daytona 500 back in 2013, I finished 6th out of the field. I don't remember what split it was, but I did my first 500 miles, and on iRacing, this is my most memorable moment.
Well, certainly getting a good finish like that in your first 500, congratulations on that. So, all right, well, thanks for being our guest here. And I know you can't stay the whole time, but you're welcome to stay and chime in on any topics we got.
Yeah, I will stay as long as I can, Mike.
All right, very good. Brad, you're up next.
Let's see. Normally we talk about the World Championship and the peaks, but they're all off this week. And actually, let's see, Grand Prix Series will not run again to the 18th of June at Imola, and then the peak is off until the 29th of June at Chicagoland. But next up would be the Blancpain GT Series, and they will be at Spa on the 16th of July. So we'll hit some updates on those, I guess, another week or so.
All right. Next topic, Kyle.
Next up is the this week on the NIS series. We were at Michigan this week. Personally, I had a horrible week.
Who didn't?
And both open and fixed, so it's probably going to be a drop week for me. I really didn't want Michigan to be a drop week, but more than likely that's the way it's going to work out. I don't even know if I finished any better than 20th in any of my races this week.
Yeah, the graphic here we have prepared shows 19th and open, 20th and fixed for you.
Yeah, it's just an awful week. That's my worst week this year, so how'd everybody else do?
Oh, God.
Go ahead, Carlos. Let's hear what you got. It shows you had a finish of 18th in the open, 9th in the fixed.
Well, both of those should have been top fives, but that didn't go that way, thanks to some impatient people. And bad decisions from me. Like one of them running top 10 and was in a 3-wide situation. That was in the open, actually, not the finish you see there. I actually finished 26th in the one I'm talking about. But let's see, 10 to go. It's actually 9 to go. 3-wide situation turned into a nightmare from a guy who thought he was clear and just turns left into me, head on into the wall. 26. Finished 26.
Yeah, I remember you were pretty upset after that race because you had such a good run going.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have cared if that would have happened 10 laps in, but 10 laps to go after wasting all my time and that happens. I mean, I don't know, fixed. The only reason why I got a 9th and fixed was half the field wrecked in front of me, and I somehow bulldozed my way through there and somehow made it to the finish with a smoking motor.
Right. All right. Tough week for you. Brad, how'd you do?
Open. I thought the week was going to start good. Had a great run in the open. Finished 5th, and trying to recover from the week that was Pocono. And I wasn't here last week, but that was a miserable week. And I got to give credit to Dave Smith, teammate. Didn't have time to work on a setup this week, and he pretty much, had us all pretty much somewhat nailed down for the open race. So fixed was a struggle, unfortunately. Thursday night. Like Carlos running the top 10 for the whole race, get to about lap 90, and had it played out fine. It probably would have been about a top 5. But, we get a yellow, and at that point, everybody loses their head. All the cartage starts. So that was I think I ended up 17th in that race. And so I had to run again last night and, trying to stay clean. And we could not get any green flag runs going. It was yellow after yellow. And like I was telling Carlos, with this setup, it's the only way you can pass is on restarts, and makes everybody just drive super aggressive. And so we, end up getting caught up in a wreck. And of course, from that point on, there's no more yellows. So it was limp around, run out of gas, and finish 16th. So, wasn't a fun week. And like Carlos, it would have been better to have been wrecked on lap 10 as opposed to, lap 90 something.
Well, that was a problem. There was no cushion.
I got wrecked the fixed race, Wednesday night? Lap 7, got taken out. 3 and 4, people just, they want to go 3 and 4 wide. And then last night I run the fixed race, same thing. Coming through 3 and 4 on lap 4, there was a guy who was obviously losing it up against the wall, so I went to pass him lower, about a lane down. The guy behind me decided he wanted to go one more lane below me, make it 3 wide. He got up into me, and we were going to save it, actually. We were just a little squirrely, and then the guy behind him just decided to take it 4 wide, lost it on the apron area there, and just dumped all 4 of us.
Ouch.
So, and of course, he ended up finishing like 3rd place, and the rest of us limped around for the rest of the race.
Yeah, it's just not a good setup this week as far as the fix. My opinion. It just everybody stays bunched together, and you can't pass, and that just leads to it can be very good racing, or depending on what split you're in, it can be really poor racing.
It was like follow the leader a lot. Once the initial wear off the tires, after 2 laps where everyone goes nuts, it was single file follow the leader unless somebody, fell out of place.
Yep. Let's see. Unless you got really long green flag runs in, you could not run anybody down and pass them. Save tires is all you could do, but by that point, a caution would come out, or people would start pitting way too early, and that kind of forces your hand right there.
Yeah, I mean, you got guys pitting at lap 24. I mean, that's just pit strategy is out the window half the time.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Brad, you finished off with the best finish of 5th in the open, 16th in the fixed.
Yeah, so Miller had a good run in open, finished 3rd. I got to give props to Jose. a 6 and open, then a second and fix.
Wow.
Jose turning it around, man.
He is, and
It's
you know
about
what?
time.
There were a couple of times Jose was like in position to win there. That second could have been a win if it worked out right.
Yep. Dave had good runs too, 6 and open and third and fixed. So some of us had good weeks, and some of you guys didn't, just like last week.
Yeah, Jeff Walton got a 16th and 22nd. Matt Boley, he didn't run open, but he ran fixed and got a 10th. Good job, Matt. Brian Cozier missed again because he's out doing real racing. Let's go over my. Yeah, he's doing pretty good. He finished second in the last video he posted, and he almost won that thing. So he was leading for a while. Let's talk about my races at Michigan. Wednesday, yuck, I was the first caution. I hate that. And it wasn't my fault. You come out of 2 and the people in front of you wreck. They hit the wall and there's just nowhere to go, and it's just run right into them. Thursday night, I got a 9th, which is my best finish of the week. Ran at the back most of the race after pounding the wall out of 2. I had some damage and stuff and lots of wrecked cars. Later I ended up 9th. Everybody else wrecked near the end and I didn't, and just kind of walked through there. So that was fun. Sunday, I didn't run Saturday. Sunday, I was just slow. There were a lot of green flag runs in my split, and I was just slow, and I finished 20-something. So that was humbling.
Yeah, you benefited Thursday night on all the carnage that I got caught up in.
Yeah, I know a lot of people got caught up in that.
At least you finished the race. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and it's the racing luck thing usually there at Michigan, and if you can get through it or not,
Yeah, sometimes you have to be patient and wait for the good opportunities.
Yep. So Michigan, I'm glad it's in the mirror, I guess. Dave Smith, he, like you said, provided a great setup for us on the opens, and we thank him for that. And we have an off week coming up. I didn't even realize it till today.
Yeah, but I have plenty to do to get ready for Sonoma.
I kind of wish we had 2 weeks of Sonoma.
Would you be quiet?
Talking about Michigan, there's a league race of the Ascors GN Series, the first race of the segment number 2. So I will be racing in this first race tonight in the Chevy Camaro.
Right. All right, let's jump to the next topic. Big news this week came out earlier today, and that is iRacing membership pricing is changing. It's going up. And this has never happened since I've been a member. In fact, I don't think it's happened since they started iRacing.
What was it? Because they're not keeping up with the cost.
Well, they never have. I don't think they ever have, and
I read up on it earlier today. They've never increased their prices ever on any content, any memberships, anything up until now. And you figure this whole thing started back in, I believe they said 2008. And here we are 8 years later with no increases. I've seen a lot of complaining on the forums and everything about this. People are going to quit because they can't afford it. It's $1. I mean...
Yeah, so let me detail out what it is. We will increase our subscription rates by $1 per month for a monthly subscription. And it will be less than $1 per month if you do a 12-month, 12-month, or 2-year subscription. Additionally, we're going to modify our bulk content purchasing discount program slightly. We're going to reduce our 6-piece bulk purchase discount from 20 to 15%. And we're going to reduce our 25% 40-piece loyalty program from 25 to 20. That is it. That is the extent of the price change.
I guess for me, I guess I'm not as worried about it too much because I own all content. So I know it said somewhere in there where those people really don't take too much of a hit. But, you only have to buy what you really want to run. That's the key to the whole thing. So,
Yeah, you don't have to buy. I don't own all the tracks. I don't own all the content.
yeah, I mean, I do. I went all out, got it all. And I don't run, the road stuff. I hardly ever run road at all. But I have it. If I ever get the itch to run it, I can just go load up and go, But the complaint over $1, it's been 8 years with no increases. Just like when you're in real life, when you work your job, you would like a raise every once in a while. Cost of living goes up. Cost of them to provide us this service is going up, and they haven't done anything up until now to help with that. And like they said in their post, the membership keeps going up, and it's been able to hold them steady to not have to give the increase. But I mean, it's time, and they're still putting out great products. So
Yep. My comment, and I actually posted, and there's a huge post in the forums. I think it's 8 pages long already.
It's up to about 12 or 13 now.
Oh, is it? I mean, I couldn't even
gosh.
keep up. I mean, you can't even read it as fast as it, keeps growing. It's one of those kind of posts because everyone has an opinion. But I actually posted, and a lot of people did in that thread. What about the 50% off July and Black Friday discount that they've traditionally have done? And if I recall, I think I always renew at the Black Friday sale whenever they do the 50% off. But I went through and read back all the stuff that iRacing published about this. They did not say one way or another about the 50% if it's going to be a thing or not. And that's really telling if I'm going to renew. Brad, why don't you tell us about what else they're offering here as far as this program goes?
So as far as renewal memberships and stuff, what they've got is right now you can save 25% on any membership renewal now through June 30th. If you're going to do a 2-year renewal, it's only $134.25. The 1-year renewal is now $74.25. 3-month renewal $22.50. 1-month renewal is only $9. And there's associated promo codes that go along with that, and those are all on the forums. And it says also just remember that when you do renew, you're adding time onto whatever you've got. So if your current subscription, doesn't expire until January of 2017, and you go ahead and add a year, you'll be good till January of 2018. And like you, Mike, I typically did the half-off stuff around Black Friday. But, in all honesty, the 2-year renewal is not that bad, because when I would do mine, I normally did 2 years, so that was $99. So, yeah, it's a $30 increase, but, if anybody has ever done real racing, this is a lot cheaper. This is a very cheap hobby for the most part. I play golf. My son likes to play golf. The two of us to go play golf, is $50 a round, and that's cheap.
Yeah.
I just golfed yesterday. It's you're not lying. I golfed yesterday. It's the same thing. $35 a round.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the amount of hours. If you break it down by dollars to hours, or you could probably go to pennies to hours. I mean, it's this was going to come at some point, and it's not the end of the world.
Well, I think somebody said it was 17 cents a day or something, and you can get it as low as, and
well, and they're going to continue with the other promotions they do. So if you run a regular series, and you get the participation credits, you'll get the anniversary credits and stuff like that. So I mean, they're still doing that stuff, but I mean, they got to make money. I mean, we all have a business to run, and if we're not making money, we need to adjust things to where we can make money. And to do a $1 increase is just not asking for a whole lot.
No, I'm okay with it. And I just wish they'd be plain about the 50% deal, if they're going to offer that or not, because that's going to dictate if I take advantage of this 25% offer that's available through June 30th. If they're not doing the 50% deal anymore, I'm going to definitely renew for 2 years, by June 30th and get that out of the way. So I'm kind of waiting for Tony. I asked Tony directly on the forum if he would answer the question. So I'm kind of waiting to see what they say before I pull that trigger. But from what I've seen so far, I believe they are not going to be offering that 50% deal going forward, based on this 25% offer and so forth.
Well, I mean, I'm good through next year anyway, so I probably won't do anything right now because I'm sure they'll do something. Either they'll do something similar to this around Black Friday, or they may even just do it once a year. As opposed to doing it twice a year too, where they do the half off. Or, I mean, again, it's still cheap. It's cheap.
I took advantage of it this past Thanksgiving. I'm actually paid up through 2020, and I also bought Dave. I believe 2 years. It was only the cost of one. I believe it was like a 50% off deal then. So it was basically two.
Well, you're set for a while.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. Let's jump on to the next topic.
Next thing up is the Gen 6 cars on the update with no brakes. I didn't personally experience this issue, but I guess it was a pretty big issue, and looks like they did some changes with the brake bias, and it brought the guys' brakes back.
No, it was a metric. If you have metric turned on, then something would happen where you didn't have brakes.
Oh, okay.
So it was something with the new dash, and if you were showing metric, so it really kind of affected the people over the pond. But I thought that was interesting because immediately after the build came out, you'd see all these posts, no brakes on the A car,
Yeah, that could get interesting.
All right.
Who needs brakes?
Next up that we saw after the build right away was some clever person with eyes like a hawk saw something up in the sky at one of the tracks, and so there was a big post about it, and people were speculating, and he even took a screenshot and pointed it out and whatever. Well, turns out it happens to be Dale Jr. rocking out with one of the fans or one of the guys from iRacing. We've seen this before, this little cutout. Sometimes they stick it on pit road or something. Well, apparently one of the graphics people put it up in the air, 1,000 feet up above this track, and it was just kind of floating in the sky.
It's he's at every track somewhere. It's the iRacing Easter egg. It's
right. So this time they stuck it in the sky and obviously caused a stir, and apparently they fixed that, so it's no longer in the sky. Okay, what else wasn't working, Brad?
Apparently there's some issues, I guess, with Chrome not working, and Chris Page had posted that I guess they had some caching issues earlier, and they said to go ahead and clear your browser, and that would take care of the problem. So that's, typically with me, I don't run Chrome, but if there's an issue with the web page not loading, clear your cache, and 9 times out of 10 it takes care of it. Yeah,
this actually happened to me. Everyone else was getting on iRacing after it came back online, but mine still showed offline when I'd go to the website. And I finally figured out I had to clear the cache, and that worked.
Yeah, it also happened to me a few times where it wouldn't load the session or whatnot, and I ended up did the typical log out, log in, log out, log in, still not working, and same thing. I did the cache, and it worked immediately.
Right.
But the next thing up we should talk about is the temperatures being inverted compared to the old car. Now when you're running, the oil temperature gets too hot over the oil. Or the water, I mean. With the new digital dash out.
Yeah, so this one was kind of confusing to me, and because the pictures that the guy posted in the forums actually didn't come through, but he's basically saying just what you said. I just wonder if they got the numbers inverted on the new dash, you know?
Right. Well, that's what he's asking is, did they swap them somehow?
Right. Now, I haven't, and he really didn't get a good response either from iRacing on this thread. So, as far as I know, this is outstanding. But I can't even see the new dash with my triples. So,
Well, yeah, with your field of view, yeah. I had to back mine up
You
because I
can
have
see
to be able
over
to
here.
see my dashboard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm using the third dash page, and you can just see the tops of them there. But so they're saying the oil is hotter than the water. Is that what they're
Yeah.
saying?
Like he says in his post, he went to Talladega and he just sat in the car in neutral on pit road and just revved it till his motor blew. And the digital dash was red at 285 and his water temp was at 220.
But
And
I mean, memory serves me hotter than the water temp.
usually it's, when you're drafting, it's your water temp that goes off. You know, think about it in a real car. You overheat the car, what's the problem? It's probably out of water.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, take drafting out of it. Typically, the oil is warmer though than the water.
Well, yeah, true. But I believe that it was always when we were at Talladega and stuff. It would be the water temp would get up to around 285. I believe I have my dash meter set at 283 for when I'm running those restrictor plate races, so it'll start flashing at 283. That's when I know when to get off a guy. But yeah, so I'm not sure what the deal is, if they got him backwards or what.
Interesting.
we'll have to see. More to come on that one.
Yep. Yeah, and like you said, he didn't really get too much of a response at all. He asked an additional question about a bumper decal, and they gladly answered that question, but nothing else.
Right. All right. One of the big things that came up on this release is Oculus support. And a lot of people have been posting up video of the Oculus Rift and, you know, what it looks like. And it's been kind of interesting for me anyway to look at that. I haven't had an opportunity to try Oculus, but it's kind of neat to see what iRacing looks like through the goggles. Have you guys seen some of these videos people have posted?
Yeah,
No, I haven't.
I mean, I'm trying to watch the video. I don't think it does it any justice, but it's just, I don't know. I like my triples.
Right. I like the look of the graphics, or like your relative box is kind of floating, you know, it's somewhere between your eyeball and the dash in front of you or whatever. And it's got this real 3D look to it. But other than that, you know, just kind of looking around, it kind of looks cool. But when they're in the race car, it just looks like it's difficult.
Yeah,
Like when when they're actually racing, you know, and their head's moving left or right and that kind of thing.
I was at a race the other night. It was the open race at Fix with a guy who was just starting out with his Oculus, and he was having some trouble just keeping the car on track. It was really tripping him out.
Yeah, I mean, people complain about getting nauseous and stuff first time they run on triples. I can't imagine if you have issues with motion, what it's like putting on, trying to do it with Oculus.
Yeah, I know. I remember when I went from my 20s to my 24-inch triples, I was like, couldn't hardly handle myself. I don't even know if I would really want to try Oculus just for that reason.
I'd like to try it, but I don't think I would run it on a regular basis.
Same way. I got too much good-looking hardware here that I want to be able to touch and feel and see.
Right.
Yeah, I wish to try the Oculus Rift, but I will not have it all the time.
Yeah. I have motion sickness to the point of, like, when I go to an amusement park and there's a roller coaster, I can't ride them anymore. When I was younger, I used to be able to do any of that stuff, but now it just gets me sick.
We
So
should
I'm
put
afraid
Mike.
I wouldn't work.
We should put Mike in a V8 supercar down Bathurst to be the similar feeling.
Yeah.
Well, I feel for you, Mike. I'm the same way. You know, in my teens and 20s, man, it was no stopping it on a roller coaster. Now take the kids, and I'm having to take Dramamine and everything else just to get through it.
Yep. I don't know what's changed besides I've gotten older, but
You gotten older, that's a problem. Keep that in mind, Alex.
yeah, it might work today, but it might not later.
Yeah.
All right, so Oculus, check it out if you're interested. A lot of people are very happy about this, and I'm happy for them. I just don't think it's for me.
I agree. I don't. To me, there's certain games I think it would be really good at. I just don't think, to me, a racing game is not where I want to use it.
Yeah, Call of Duty, I that might be awesome, but not iRacing.
God. I mean, until we get to the point where, everything's 1-to-1. Say you have a button box, until we get to that point, I don't see Oculus Rift being as, popular.
Right, yeah, that's my thing too. I mean, if I've got the goggles on, I can't see anything. How am I going to hit my button box?
I see, until it gets 1-to-1 to we can actually feel it ourselves. We've got a long way to go still.
Yeah.
Now, there's those other brand called the Vive goggles. Are those compatible? Does anybody know?
I don't know, but they're freaking expensive.
Yeah, I don't think they started even working. I don't think iRacing has even started to work on those yet. And I remember reading a post somewhere. I don't even think iRacing has a pair of them yet.
Yeah,
like
they're not,
$800.
and those aren't blacked out completely. You can still see what's going on, I think. But I could be mistaken.
Sure.
All right.
I've heard about a Sony stuff. I don't remember what it was, but it was a Sony mark, but I don't remember what it was exactly.
Yeah. All right. What's up next, Brad?
So at the last build, the big thing now is that we can have debris on the track. And I'm sure you guys probably covered this in the release notes last time, that dirt and stuff like that can be kicked up. Well, there was a post from Myers who said that this might have been an easy to skip by in the release notes, but this was a humongous project. This is a fundamental change in this code based, and it's the first step in some awesome features in the future. And there was some video put up of a bunch of guys getting together with late models, and
There's the implant on it.
yeah, and at
Oxford.
Lanier.
Oxford, where they just
Oxford, yeah.
spent a lot of time on the edges of the track, kicking all the dirt back onto up onto the asphalt to basically turn it into a quasi dirt track. And so I watched that. It was pretty neat. It was really cool, and I would never have thought about doing that. But they spent some time, and they made it work. But I think this is a real huge improvement. This is gonna. I think Carlos said, if you thought Sonoma was frustrating before, wait until somebody drops off and starts putting dirt all over the place.
Right, and then you have to drive through it. It's going to be like, whoa, what happened to my tires and my grip?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it a lot at Michigan this week. At least in the practice sessions, guys getting down, coming to the tri-oval and dropping a wheel off, and you come back through there, and a cloud of dust would come up, and I could see pebbles coming up at the screen.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
definitely neat.
Actually, I tested the sprint car on Oxford with dirt on the track. If you wanted to go check, just go check on my Facebook and gonna see my onboard view. It was something pretty awesome. I tell you that.
Now, were you able to get the car sideways and be able to turn to the right to make it go left?
Yeah, it's just awesome. But I can't wait to get the real dirt Eldor and Williams Groove. It's just, it's awesome. I can't wait to get the sprint car and the late model, super late model on dirt. Just can't wait.
Yeah, and I think this is a huge step forward. I mean, to where we actually get a lot of the environment that will start, to interact with, with the track and with the cars. And if you guys remember, when they first did the cones, I remember seeing a video posted about, the goal is to eventually be able to have pieces of car that'll come off, and you come into contact with your car, whether it be punctured tires and all that stuff. So I mean, it's a gradual progression, but the whole environment is definitely becoming a lot more alive, and that's the one thing that iRacing has kind of gotten stigmatized over the years, was it was a very static nature to the game, which it's not anymore.
Right. Lap 1 was like lap 100, no matter what,
Exactly.
Yeah, and maybe it's off topic, but do you guys know when we're gonna have dirt? Maybe next season?
Not that soon.
No.
Yeah, they said the goal was the end of the year, but my guess is sometime next year, maybe the earliest. Don't get your hopes up. I mean, I hope they do it, but they need to do it right, because if they don't do it right, I think it'll be a huge failure.
Right. Yeah, I would say late next year would be my guess. All right.
Yeah, well.
Kyle, next up.
Well, we've talked about it quite a bit tonight. The build that came out last Tuesday, and they did some bug fixes. I know that we talked, I believe, briefly last week about the DirectX 11 being the automatic thing, and they did some website repairs, and some of the cars, they fixed some issues with them.
Yeah, so they announced that release, a bug fix release shortly after, like the next day after the big build. They already knew what their bugs were, and we've talked about all of those already. So
yeah, I mean, it's typical. You can watch the forums during week 13, and you'll start to identify all of them as they start to pop up, and they'll work to get them fixed.
Since the new build this week, I've seen a lot of FPS lost on my triple screen, so I don't know if you guys have this issue still, but I have some issue tonight and today also.
I have not had that issue myself, but I have seen other people having that issue, so you're not alone.
This is what I thought.
Yeah, I replaced my GPU this week, so no loss for me. Doubled.
You're good to go, huh?
I'm good to go.
All right. So next up, Tony Gardner left a tidbit in the forums I wanted to read about what they're doing behind the scenes. And this kind of ties in with the price increase we were talking about. But let me read this out loud. We have 3 studios doing art and production work now, significantly more than we've ever had. It took some time to select them and get them up to speed, but cranking along now. Not to mention our own art and production staff and some independent contractors. We now have an equivalent of about 30 full-time people just doing art and production, which means cars and tracks. With the sheer size and scale of work for the Nürburgring and now Le Mans, it has taken a lot of resources. Imola was not a small track either. Our plan is to continue with this expanded staff, and over time, you should see us both shining up old tracks, including rescans, and coming out with new content. I know a small track, we just shined up South Boston, for example, which is part of the base package. Some things with the cars graphically, we just shined up the V8 cars as another example. Le Mans, frankly, is a lot more work than even Nürburgring from an art perspective. The plan is to get Pocono and many others. We sure do have a lot of tracks at this point. We have over 100 licenses. Thank you for your patience and support.
Wow.
So I don't think everyone realized that, how many people they've brought on. They got 3 different departments doing art and production, 30 people on that team alone. And that's way more than they had just maybe even a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, they had just, I guess, in the last year, beginning of this year, expanded and actually about doubled the size of the, office space. And,
right.
It's what it is. They've got to get quicker with getting stuff out. I mean, that's always been the negative thing that people want to complain about. So.
Well, it sounds like they're ramping up the staff to go along with all these, tracks they've signed. Eldora, we talked about, Williams Grove, all this dirt stuff coming up. We have all the rescans like Pocono, that still need to be done, and in Long Beach needs to be finished, and there's so many others, and so it sounds like, they just take on enough people to keep up with the workload, and I guess that's the way, it should be. And I think it kind of explains why they might need a little bit more money in revenue.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that completely. I mean, there's plenty of tracks that have been signed for quite a while, and unfortunately, when you have to go ahead and jump, I mean, regardless of when it may hit production.
Right. So I'm happy Tony was able to, who's the CEO of iRacing, was able to take a moment and let us know. We do appreciate knowing some of that back office story, what's going on behind the scenes. I think it helps put, the price increase in perspective a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's the one thing I've always appreciated, about whether it's Gardner or, any of the other ones. I mean, they're willing to allow us to get some of the, that other information, and they do share plenty of stuff, and I think that's needed.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
Brad, what happened next today?
Apparently they had another DOS attack, so it's what you're doing when you're dealing with the internet. I mean, it's what it is. They said that there may have been some latency issues in some of the servers. Could have been a disconnect or two, but they posted a while back that I think they've spent 6 figures working on network security. Some stuff you just can't stop.
Yeah, and you wonder if there's a bad character out there, doing this on purpose.
Yeah, there are, but it's not. No one's targeting iRacing. It's just you're targeting a whole group of stuff.
Right. All right, so more of that. What's next, Kyle?
Next up is they're announcing a virtual race that's organized by iRacing Brazil, and all the proceeds will be reverted to the Instituto Barcelo Foundation. The event will take place at Interlagos on the 15th of June, 9 p.m. with the Formula Renault 2.0 car.
Yeah, and I think the story here is, Kyle, is who is putting on the race is actually none other than Formula One driver Rubens Barrichello.
Yep.
He's been a big sim racer for many years.
Yeah, and we've been talking on a lot of the podcasts. People are running into him in races and stuff, and now he's even involved in promoting a race here. So it's cool. I always like to see real race car drivers get involved in iRacing, and he's certainly one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, if you're Brazilian and you're interested in that, get involved. And there's money being raised for his foundation, and looks pretty cool. Next up is dwwarehouse.com. Excuse me, I didn't say that right. dwarehouse, the letter D, warehouse.com is where you can get the Jimmy Johnson spotter pack, and there's a new version that's been released on June 7th. It's version 6.60. They have the regular version and the cuss version. I actually run the cuss version. I installed this and kind of found it better than it was before.
I had the old version. I haven't updated yet. I'll definitely have to do that. I've been meaning to, but work life's been busy lately, so I haven't basically been showing up just to race. Sometimes my wife's even been signing me up as I'm on my way home from work, so I'll definitely be on that.
Yeah, lots of new stuff in the update. They say there's 360 new sound clips, bringing the grand sample totals to over 3,500 for the standard pack and 3,700 for the cuss pack. I noticed at Michigan when I went from 3 to 2 wide or 2 to 1 wide, there were some new sounds there. They would be like 2 inside, 1 inside, or something like that. It would the transition was really nice as it went from 2 to 1. And I appreciate those guys working on that. It's a ton of work, I'm sure, but it really, for me, is much better than the stock spotter pack that's installed with the sim.
Jeez, I'm using
Yeah,
an
I
old.
mean, yeah. If you use this and you really want to appreciate how good it is, turn it off. Go back to the standard and run one race with the standard spotter, and you'll realize how much you really appreciate what these guys do.
Yeah, I've been using like 3 builds ago Dale Jr. spotter. I need to update that one.
Yeah, I tried that one, and I don't like it. I mean, I don't like it as much as the Jimmy Johnson one. I guess
Yeah.
it's because I've been using the Jimmy Johnson one all the way back to NASCAR 2003, so I've gotten so used to the sounds and stuff that I tried to use it, but I don't get as much information.
Yeah,
Yep.
it just seems like there's more. It gives you more information than the other ones do.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's maybe the audio clips are tighter and smaller or shorter, so they can layer them quicker. Like I was just talking about when I went from 2 cars to 1 car inside, how that transition went, real well.
That would have been helpful weeks ago.
Yeah, it's fairly new release. June 7th is when they put that out. So check out the Jimmy Johnson spotter pack.
This is what I'm looking right now.
All right. Next up is Jose. We were going to talk about Jose Pabon, teammate, but he's not here. He was talking about doing a new build for a computer, and we were giving him ideas on what to buy and stuff. And which reminds me, Brad, you got a new video card. You want to take a moment and tell us about it?
Yeah, actually, picked up the Asus Radeon R9 398 gig graphics card. Very nice. Really like it. Did the typical stupid thing, and when I ordered my adapters for it to get my 4th monitor up, I forgot that I had to have active adapters and ordered passives, and been frustrated for a week and a half because I can't get my 4th monitor up. But they're ordered now. They'll be here soon. And but like the card, like it a lot. I can basically run everything with triples just about almost on high. So that's a good thing.
Did you get the X or just the plain version, the 390?
The 390.
Okay.
The X, I couldn't do another $100, man. White
What's
would
the
have
X
killed me.
do?
It's a little bit quicker clock speed. So, it's like, to me, it wasn't enough to justify it, but I think you're running the X, aren't you, Kyle?
Yeah, I'm running the X with built-in water cooling.
Yeah, I don't want to do water cooling and all that. So, but no, I like it. I mean, coming from a Radeon HD 7950, this was a huge jump, and that one is, it's done me well for, the last 3 years, so I can't complain. But
It served its purpose, right?
It did, but it was starting to really get long in the tooth, and every build I was continually having to turn things down or turn things off, and that's not how I want to play.
Right. I'm in the same, but I have a 7970, which is kind of long in the tooth right now too. So
Yeah. So just remember when you upgrade your hardware that you need to think about before you buy things, so you don't make mistakes and get frustrated when you actually created your own problem.
So you're going to run the 4th monitor off of the video card itself, which is a little different than I have it set up.
Yeah, I cannot I have on board from my video on my supposedly on my motherboard, but
right.
I cannot get it to turn on. I have an old Asus motherboard that unfortunately is so old that Asus isn't even making Windows 10 drivers for it. So, but I've never been able to get it to turn on. So, like I said, I ran it out of the back in 7950, no issues. And once I, get the right adapters, I'll be good to go. So.
All right. And I guess I'll ask one more, the obvious question, especially at this point in the video card market. Why didn't you get the new one, the big one, the 70? What is it called? The
1080.
Yeah, the 1080, as everyone else is dying to get.
'Cause they're not available?
One, they're not available. $300 versus what, 6 or 7? No, can't do it.
Yeah.
So twice the price and
Yeah.
availability.
Hell,
Yeah.
the 1070s just came out like early in the week, or early last week, I should say, and instantly sold out already. So that's just
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I like AMD. I was an ATI guy I've been an ATI guy for like the last 10 years, and I kind of I like a certain brand, and I just want to stay with it. And I haven't used NVIDIA, in probably 10 years. So.
Yep. Okay, that's a good answer. Next up is listener feedback, which is kind of new for us, but we've been getting it the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to read off a couple of things we heard from listeners. We heard from Taylor Burris. Big shout out to us. Think it's awesome what we're doing here on iRacers Lounge, and wondering if you guys would be interested in sponsoring my modified for next season, as I'm current division champion and finishing third out of all Florida drivers and finished 37th overall. And basically, I kind of clarified with him, yeah, you can run our logo if you want, but I don't have any money to sponsor you. There's no revenue in this podcast, so.
Now, we were wondering if you cut him a check or not.
No, but he decided to go ahead and put the logo on his car anyway, and he sent some pictures over. It looked really sharp.
Excellent.
So he's going to send us pictures as he goes, and of the car with the logo and such. So we'll look for that. The other guy who hit us up was Matt Helmers. Again, a big thank you for the podcast. I thought I would like to tell you about the virtual super resolution you mentioned. It made my screen blurry, and VSR can only go up to 60 hertz. I see the advantage you have from it, but if you Google it, it says text are now too blurry. I have an R9 290 and a brand new BenQ 27-inch monitors. So he's referring to that episode where I mentioned I switched to virtual super resolution in my AMD settings, and I guess he tried it and it didn't work out for him.
Yeah, I tried it too on the 7950, and I didn't see any visual difference for the performance loss that I had.
Right. Yeah, and he mentioned made a screen blurry. I don't know how it would make it blurry.
I will add something very quick, Mike. Time is running up right now for me, so I appreciate a lot to let me in this iRacers Lounge, and thank you a lot. So.
Well, thanks for joining us, Alex. Take care.
Thanks, Alex. Good luck, bud.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
All right. So I guess the super virtual resolution doesn't work for everybody. I'm still loving it, actually. So.
Me personally, it almost added like way too much of like a zoom effect. I did it, so not sure what happens.
All right. The next guy who gave us some listener feedback was on YouTube, and we don't have a proper name. His YouTube name was Big Head Yogi, and he said, "Great show. Looking forward to it all the time. Was listening to a few other shows, but now just yours. Keep up the good work." So thank you, Big Head Yogi. We appreciate that very much. I hope you guys like our weekly format that we've started now, and we want to hear from our listeners. So if you have an idea for a new topic or like to hear more on some topic, let us know. Hit us a comment on YouTube. Hit us up on Twitch. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook. We're on all that stuff. So let's go into final thoughts for today. Kyle, what do you got?
Just the usual. Hit us up on Twitter at Typosi Racing, Facebook at Typosi Racing.
All right. All right, Brad, final thoughts for the week.
Looking forward to an off week. Nice to get a little bit of break from NIS and before we start the whole summer swing. And I don't think we have another off week until August, I think, maybe, and then that's the last one for the year. So the grind will start, and just need to get out here on the track with Carlos and chase him around Sonoma so I can figure out what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think if you keep it on the track the whole race, you probably have a top 10.
I just got to figure out how to hook a chain from his car to mine so that he can just pull me around.
I don't know about that.
Come on now.
You might get run into a fence.
I tried to fix setup yesterday after I wrecked out on lap 4. I was like, well, let me go see what next week's going to have in store. And I just threw the base Sonoma set into the car and touched the throttle. It just wants to spin right around. It's going to be fun next week.
All right. Carlos, final thoughts?
Can't wait for Sonoma. It's all I can say. I'm looking forward to that and trying to get my iRating back that I lost at Michigan.
You think you have the material to get a top 10 there?
Probably. I usually run really well there, but, I'm probably going to be in a higher split, so it's probably going to be tough.
I don't know. He was quick in the session I was in last night. He was quick.
I wasn't that quick.
Yes, you were.
All right, 1:16.7 was it?
That's quick.
All right. So looking forward to Sonoma. I guess my final thoughts are I've been running my new paint job, which is the Springfield Armory XDS pistol car, and had a couple comments about it, but I really like it, so it hasn't really brought me the luck I was hoping for. I didn't even realize it was an off week until they were talking about it in NASCAR, and I was like, wait, I kind of wanted to run this week. But
I know.
We'll take the off week and move on. And then my final thought, too, is, the NASCAR iRacing series is hard. And I think Michigan kind of proves that when Sunday night, I got humbled. I mean, I'm the slowest guy out there on old tires, and you really feel like you're in a split too high for your ability, and boy, that is humbling. But you know what? If it was easy, everyone would do it, and you wouldn't. So it's hard for a reason. That's what keeps us coming back, and I'm looking forward to the next race.
It's either hard or extremely bad luck.
Yeah, you got to have that racing luck too, huh? All right, and that'll wrap up our show. Don't forget to check us out at iRacersLounge.com or hit us up on Facebook at iRacers Lounge. We'll see you guys next time. See ya.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you for listening to the iRacers Lounge podcast. Make sure to go subscribe to us at our YouTube channel at iRacers Lounge. Follow on Twitter and Facebook at iRacers Lounge and SoundCloud at iRacers Lounge. See you on the track.